The courtroom is stifling, the air thick with tension and whispered speculation. I sit, stiff-backed, among the gallery, my gaze fixed on the woman I once vowed to spend my life with. The judge's gavel falls, a sharp crack that echoes my fracturing world. Guilty. The word hangs in the air, a final nail in a coffin long prepared. Ladies and gentlemen, this court is adjourned, the judge declares, his voice devoid of emotion. As the room empties, I remain seated, frozen by a cocktail of relief and simmering rage. She doesn't look back as the officers lead her away. Her indifference is a blade to my gut. She never did look back, not even that night. I drive home under a sky bruised with storm clouds, the same route we used to take together. Now, each landmark whispers memories, each streetlight flickers over scenes of a past tainted by betrayal. Once home, I pour myself a drink, the liquid fire a dull echo of my inner turmoil. The house feels cavernous, empty. I flick through the day's mail, junk, bills, and then a letter from the prison. Her handwriting. I tear it open, a perverse part of me hungry for her words. Mark, I know you'll never forgive me, but I need you to understand, I crumple the paper, the words blurring before my eyes. Understand? How could she dare ask for understanding? I toss the letter into the fireplace, watching as the flames consume her words, her lies. My phone buzzes. It's Jack, her brother, the only family she hadn't managed to alienate, yet. Mark, have you seen the news? Yes, I reply, the word a shard of ice. We need to talk, Mark. It's about her, there's more you don't know. I pause, considering. Jack had always been in her corner, but the hesitation in his voice now sparks my curiosity. All right, I concede, come over. The doorbell rings just as the last of her letter turns to ash. I open the door to find Jack, his face more lined than I remember, his eyes clouded with the same storm I feel in my chest. We should sit down, he suggests, stepping past the threshold like a man walking into a gale. In the living room, we face each other across the expanse of my old, coffer-stained table, the table that had hosted countless dinners and laughter, now a silent witness to our grim reunion. Mark, there's something you need to know about what happened, Jack starts, his voice steady but low. She was planning to leave you long before the affair started. She had other plans. Other plans? I echo, my voice hollow. Jack nods, rummaging through his bag. He pulls out a stack of papers, emails, photos, documents. Evidence of a deeper deceit. She was involved in more than just an affair. There were accounts, money moving overseas, plans for a new life, without you. The room spins slightly as I take it all in. Betrayal is a wound that deepens with each new revelation. I had loved her, fought for her, and all along, she had been plotting her escape, weaving a web of lies that had ensnared not just me, but my brother too. I want to bring her down, Mark. Completely. For both of us, Jack says, his jaw set. Revenge is a cold fire, but as I look at the documents spread before me, I feel its warmth. Let's do it, I agree, my voice a whisper of dark resolve. Together, we map out our course, plotting the ruin of the woman who had been my wife, the architect of my misery. As the storm breaks outside, rain lashing against the windows, we sit together, brothers in arms against the tempest she had wrought in our lives. Tonight, the storm is ours, and we are its masters. The next morning arrives with an uneasy calm. As I sit in my kitchen, nursing a strong cup of coffee, the front door swings open and in walks Ava, my trusted friend and a sharp private investigator. She's been in the loop since the first whispers of betrayal reached my ears. You called? Ava's tone is brisk as she drops a thick file on the table. Her presence, always a mixture of business and solace, feels particularly necessary today. Thanks for coming, Ava. We need to dig deeper into her finances and those overseas connections, I explain, gesturing to the documents Jack left last night. Her eyebrows lift slightly as she flips through the first few pages. This is extensive, Mark. If half of this pans out, she's not just a cheat, but a criminal on a grand scale. Ava's professionalism doesn't mask the shock in her voice, rare for someone who's seen the seedier side of so many lives. Exactly why I need your best on this. Can you handle it? You know I can. I'll start with the banks and work my way through these contacts. She taps a photo paperclip to a bank statement. Who's this? That's Emilio, some guy she mentioned in passing. Thought he was just a business associate, I admit with a shrug. Ava snorts. In my experience, just a business associate often means much more in these cases. I'll dig into him. I nod, grateful for her thoroughness. As Ava sets to work, my phone vibrates. It's a text from someone I never expected to hear from again, Laura, her best friend and confidant. The message is cryptic. We need to talk. Meet me at the park in an hour. Alone. Problem? Ava asks, noting the frown etching my face. Laura wants to meet. The best friend? Could be a trap, Mark. I know. But it might also be our only chance to get some answers firsthand. Cover for me? Always, she replies with a nod, her eyes sharp and focused. I leave Ava to her investigation and head to the park, the morning chill biting at my skin. Laura is already there, sitting on a bench, her posture tense, eyes scanning the area. Laura. I approach cautiously. Mark. Her voice is tight. I'm sorry for everything. I had no idea she was capable of. Why are we here, Laura? I cut her off, not in the mood for apologies. She's scared, Mark. She thinks you're going to come after her with everything you've got. Laura's eyes plead for understanding. That's exactly what I'm planning to do. Laura sighs, her shoulders slumping. She wants to make a deal. She knows things that could help you get her on more than just murder. I'm silent, weighing her words. Revenge is my priority, but I'm not blind to the potential benefits of strategic alliances. What kind of things? She's willing to give up her partners, the big names involved in the money laundering, even Emilio's operations. And what does she want in return? I ask, skeptical of any deal that might benefit her. Protection, a lighter sentence, maybe even a chance at a new life. The suggestion stings with irony. I'll think about it, I finally say, my mind racing with possibilities and pitfalls. As I leave the park, my phone rings. It's Jack, his voice urgent. Mark, you need to get back here now. Ava found something big. It's about Emilio and it's not good. The plot thickens, weaving a tangled web around my once simple quest for revenge. As I drive back, I realize that this game is far larger and more dangerous than I ever imagined. As I pull into the driveway, the front door to my house swings open, and Jack rushes out to meet me. His face is pale, his usual calm demeanor replaced by a frantic energy. Mark, inside, now, he urges, pulling me by the arm. We dart into the living room where Ava is surrounded by papers and multiple open laptops. Her eyes are wide, a mix of excitement and fear as she looks up from her screen. Tell him, Jack says, practically out of breath. Ava points to an image on her laptop, a grainy photo of Emilio standing with a well-known crime lord. This was taken at a private club in Miami last month. And this, she clicks to another document, is a ledger. It shows transactions linked to several high-profile criminals, and guess whose name is all over it? Let me guess, I murmur, my stomach knotting. Yes, her. She wasn't just cheating or planning a new life. She was laundering money for Emilio and his associates. Big money, Ava explains. Jack paces behind us, hands clenched. This goes deeper than a simple affair or even murder. We're talking about major criminal activities, possibly even international ramifications. I rub my temples, feeling the weight of our discovery. What's our move? We can't just hand this over to the police. Not yet. That's right, Ava agrees. If we tip our hand too soon, they'll scatter. We need to gather more evidence, maybe even catch them in the act. The room falls silent as the gravity of the situation sinks in. Then, my phone buzzes. It's a text from Laura again. She's willing to meet. Tonight. She'll talk. I show Ava and Jack. Maybe this is our chance to pull more out of her. Get her to implicate Emilio and his crew directly. Jack nods. It's risky. She's desperate, could be dangerous. I'll wire you, Ava interjects, pulling out a small device from her bag. We'll be listening to every word. If anything goes south, we'll be right there. Let's set it up then, I say, determination stealing my voice. It's time to end this. The meeting place is a rundown cafe on the outskirts of town, neutral ground. The sky is overcast, the air thick with impending rain. I enter the cafe, spotting her sitting in a dim corner, her face shadowed, almost unrecognizable from the woman I married. Mark, she greets, her voice a low whisper. I sit, keeping my distance. You wanted to talk. So talk. She hesitates, glancing nervously around the room. I know what you must think of me. I've made terrible choices. But I'm trapped, Mark. Emilio, he's not just a business partner. He's dangerous. What do you have on him? I press, my voice steady despite the roaring in my ears. I can give you everything, accounts, routes, contacts. But I need your guarantee. Protection. A way out. Why should I trust you? I challenge. Because I have no one else. You were always the one who planned, who protected. I need that now, she pleads, her eyes searching mine for a shred of sympathy. I pause, letting the silence stretch. Then, decisively, I reply, you give me everything you have on Emilio, and I'll consider it. But I want proof first. She nods, pulling out a USB drive from her purse and sliding it across the table. This is it. Everything is there. Names, dates, transactions. I pocket the drive. I'll look into this. If it's what you say, we'll talk protection. As I stand to leave, she grabs my arm, her grip tight. Please, Mark. Don't let me rot in there. I pull away, her touch leaving a cold trail. You should have thought of that before. Exiting the cafe, the cool air hits my face, and I can hear Ava and Jack in my earpiece, ready to debrief. Tonight, the game changes, and with this new evidence, the net tightens around Emilio and his criminal empire. The drive back from the cafe feels endless, each mile stretching out as I replay the meeting in my mind. Ava's voice breaks through my thoughts. We're almost ready. When you get here, we'll go through the data. Jack's pulling in a favor with a forensic IT specialist. I pull into the driveway, the house lit up and buzzing with a tension that mirrors the storm brewing overhead. Inside, Jack and Ava are setting up a makeshift command center in my living room. The USB drive feels heavy in my pocket, a token of betrayal and perhaps a ticket to justice. We're set. Let's see what she gave you, Ava says, her tone professional yet tinged with urgency. The specialist, a guy named Simon, takes the drive and begins extracting the files. Data streams onto the screen, documents and spreadsheets linking back to Emilio and his network. It's all here, just as she promised. Jack leans over the screen, pointing at a series of transactions. Look at this. It's not just money laundering, it's arms dealing. We've got them. Good work, everyone, I say, but the victory feels hollow. The doorbell rings, slicing through our celebration. I glance through the peephole to see Laura standing outside, drenched from the rain, a look of desperation etched across her face. Opening the door, I'm wary. Laura, now's not a good time. She pushes past me, frantic. You don't understand, Mark. It's all a setup. What are you talking about? I demand, my patience wearing thin. She's playing you. All of this, she waves a hand at the screens, it's a diversion. She's not just trying to escape Emilio, she's taking over. She planned this, to get caught, to make a deal, to use you to eliminate Emilio. A cold dread settles over me as her words sink in. You have proof? I ask, the weight of her accusation paralyzing. Laura hands me another USB drive. I found this hidden in her apartment. It's encrypted, but I think it's what you need. Simon takes the new drive, working quickly to access its contents. The screen flickers, then reveals a series of emails between her and a mysterious figure only referred to as the architect. They detail not just a plan to use me as a pawn, but to frame Emilio and take over his operations. Jack's face hardens. We need to confront her. Now. With storm clouds gathering, we drive to the prison, the mood grim. Each revelation has painted a picture of a woman I no longer recognize, a woman who had manipulated her way into the very heart of darkness. At the prison, she meets us in the interview room, a smirk playing on her lips as if she's already won. Mark, you look like you've seen a ghost. We know everything, I say, throwing down copies of the emails. Your plan to use me to wipe out Emilio, to take over his empire. Her smirk fades, replaced by a cold, calculating look. I did what I had to do to survive. You would have done the same. No, I wouldn't have, I counter, feeling the last of my affection for her curdle into disgust. And I won't let you win. Her eyes narrow. What are you going to do? Turn me over to the authorities? They won't believe you. But they will, Jack interjects, stepping forward with the evidence. We've already contacted the FBI. They're on their way now. Your empire ends before it begins. She laughs, a hollow sound. Mark, even now, you're playing the hero. Did you ever stop to think that maybe I did love you, once? Love isn't manipulation. You never loved me, you loved the control you had over me. As the officers take her away, she turns, her gaze piercing. You'll never be free of me, Mark. Never. But as she disappears behind the closing doors, I realize I am free. Free of the lies, the deceit, and the twisted version of love she tried to bind me with. Outside, the storm breaks, rain washing over the world, as if trying to cleanse the ugliness we'd uncovered. Jack, Ava, Laura, and I stand together in silence, watching the downpour. We did it, Ava says, a note of relief in her voice. Yes, I reply, feeling a sense of closure. It's over. As we part ways, the weight of the past starts to lift, the future uncertain, but finally, truly mine to shape.